to connect a region of over 600 cultural bridges between our lands.
Hello, I'm Alma Angeles. Welcome to ASEAN in Focus. On today's headlines. Thai democracy activists vowed to return to the streets after police fired water cannon and tear gas on demonstrators in the most violent clashes seen since the protest movement erupted in July. President Duterte on Tuesday night lashed out at Vice President Leni Robredo for alleged grandstanding and questioning his absence during the onslaught of Typhoon Ulysses last week. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison said he will work with Pacific Island and ASEAN nations to ensure vaccines can be delivered across all of these countries next year. And the Iglesia Ni Cristo launched an aid to humanity for OFWs in Bahrain. First, Thai democracy activists vowed Tuesday to return to the streets after police fired water cannon and tear gas on demonstrators in the most violent clashes seen since the protest movement erupted in July. 41 people were injured as protesters forced through police barricades towards Parliament in Bangkok, where lawmakers were debating possible changes to the military scripted constitution. Let's take a look. Student-led rallies have rocked Thailand for months, demanding a constitutional overhaul and the removal of Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha, who took power in a 2014 coup. Some in the movement have also called for the reforms to the monarchy that was a once taboo subject. Now that sent shockwaves through the Thai establishment. Tuesday's demonstrations with stone-throwing clashes between pro-democracy and hardline royalist protesters saw a marked rise in violence. Prominent student leader Parit Penguin Chiwara called off the rally around 9 p.m., urging the protesters to regroup at a major intersection in Bangkok shopping district on Wednesday afternoon. Now, according to the Erawan Emergency Medical Center, 41 people were hurt in the protests, including 5 with gunshot injuries, and they are now receiving treatment at 5 hospitals. Student-led rallies have been sustaining this protest for months now. And joining us live from Bangkok now is Faye Barte. Hello, Faye.
Yes, good afternoon, Alma, and good afternoon to all our viewers. I am actually here now at the protest site that the youth led group will have the protest later afternoon at 4 p.m. So this is the actual situation right now. Let me just this is the Ratchaprasong intersection. I'm actually showing now It's quite peaceful at the moment, but however, there are some Thai media are already here in the protest site, waiting for some people to gather here in this area. But at the moment, there is no traffic that we can see now, and the Irawan Shrine is opposite in our area, in our location today, and there are no lots of people. But maybe later at 4 p.m., there would be a lot of students will come here. And another update, Alma. Another update from Bangkok's Erawan Medical Center, there have been 55 people already were injured, recorded, and 32 were injured because of the tear gas. 6 people who allegedly had gunshot wounds. Yesterday, the rally, the protest site was at the parliament. That location would be like 14 to 16 minutes by car, and it will be like 5 to 7 kilometers away from the new protest site that they are going to use later. And this group of people, Alma, they really demand for a deep constitutional change, the step down of the prime minister, and to restrain the power of His Majesty King Maha Vajiralongkorn. And another thing that we need to be updated on, that because here in this area, Alma, it will be just a walk away from the Royal Thai Police. We couldn't take pictures and we couldn't take videos a while ago, but we saw that they are preparing some barricades for the demonstrators and for the rally that will happen later. Back to you, Alma.
What time will they regroup again? Is it 4 in the afternoon there? At the same place?
According to the report that we gathered, Alma, they are going to gather here at 4 p.m. Thailand time.
Okay. So what time is it now there?
The time now is 1:16 p.m. So
Okay.
They still have 3 more hours to go to prepare, and some Royal Thai Police, they are actually preparing now, but we couldn't just gather some interview there, and we couldn't gather some pictures and videos because it is really prohibited. But we could see that they have some trucks, they have some people that are preparing some barricades, like razor barricades, and some trucks for them to use later in the protest.
Mm-hmm. What about police? Is there police presence there now?
Here in my location, I cannot see some police here, but maybe later they are going to come here and they are going to secure the area.
Mm-hmm. All right.
However, yes, the current situation here is there are lots of people that are roaming around at the roadside. It seems like everything is okay, everything is at peace, and there is no sign of they are afraid on what will happen later. It seems like everything will be okay.
Okay. All right. So peaceful right now. No protest
Yes,
for now.
at the moment.
At the moment, yes. Okay.
And there is a police truck. I don't know if you can see. There is a police truck going that side, and that would, police. It's a police truck. I don't know if you can see now.
Okay.
So this is the situation in the protest site that will be used later at 4 p.m.
All right. Okay, you take care, Faye, and please do update us. We're very interested to know what will happen later. So please do take care and stay safe out there.
Yes, thank you very much, Alma. Thank you.
Thank you.
Likewise, you keep safe there. This is Faye Barker reporting live here in Bangkok, Thailand Bureau, and we live in interesting times.
Now to Maldives, where the island nation is joining a virtual IMTM 2020 summit or event to boost tourism. Here's Steffi Dewan to tell us more about it. Hello, Steffi.
Hi, Alma. Good afternoon, and to all the televiewers around the world. So let's take a break to COVID issues and let's go back to travel news. Visit Maldives participated in the International Maldives Travel Market or IMTM 2020 from November 16 to 17. This two-day fair held virtually with the IMTM Air platform facilitated business interactions and strengthened endeavors to promote Maldives as a tourist destination to new and existing markets. The aim of this event is to reconnect, revive, and grow the country's tourist sector. IMTM is a private travel and trade fair which plays a crucial role in bringing together international buyers from across the world to associate with Maldivian tourism products. IMTM maintains the stance that stakeholders of the local tourism industry must come together to deliberate on challenges, solutions, and opportunities resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic, thereby furthering efforts to support increased and more sustainable growth within Maldives tourist sectors. According to Managing Director of Visit Maldives, they hope that the brand awareness and visibility of the destination increases among tourists and potential buyers with the success of these events. As a tourism promotion, Boards of Maldives, Visit Maldives welcomes such collaborative efforts by all private and public entities, as digital and online marketing is vital these days. They believe that carrying forward similar activities is essential. Visit Maldives has been taking part in several virtual fairs and marketing activities to promote tourists in Maldives. This includes a global campaign in CNN, a joint campaign with DNNPA, Travels, promotion with Emirates Women's,
Okay, we lost Steffi for a while there. We'll try and get her back as soon as we get a better connection. Let's first go to Vietnam, where a man from Hanoi has tested positive again. Now, this was just 2 months after recovering from COVID-19. Here's Eliana Faith Sebastian joining us live from our EBC Vietnam Bureau. Hello, Eliana.
Hello, Alma. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, that's right. That's the update here in Vietnam. A man from Hanoi who was positive for the novel coronavirus 2 months after his recovery now tested negative thrice. According to the health ministry, they emphasize that he is not able to spread the virus to others. He is a 21-year-old man who had returned to Vietnam from Russia. The Department of Preventative Medicine under the health ministry stated that on Tuesday morning, his PCR test conducted by the National Hospital for Tropical Diseases in Hanoi came out negative again. This serves as his third negative result in a row since Monday, all identified through PCR screening. He is continuously being monitored and having his samples collected for testing by the National Institute of Hygiene and Epidemiology. To add more to this, antibody determination screening would also be conducted. For the 50 close contacts with the Hanoi man, their blood samples returned with negative results as well. But to follow the health ministry's protocol, they must still be quarantined. The man visited Transport Hospital in Hanoi on November 7 and was provided with medicine for viral infection. And a week after that, he suffered from a 39-degree fever and fatigue. Upon returning to the hospital and having the novel coronavirus test, his results returned positive. Deputy Director of the National Hospital for Tropical Diseases, Nguyen Chung Kap, said that false COVID-19 positive results may be shown by the man. He added that although the chances are low, this instance may still occur. Earlier, Vietnam had dozens of relapse cases, but actually none hold the risk of spreading the virus to others. The country has reported 1,288 COVID-19 cases so far, and then they have 35 fatalities. It is now the 75th day of zero community transmission of the virus in Vietnam. Back to you, Alma.
All right. Thank you very much, Eliana. Take care and stay alert, stay healthy.
Thank you so much, Alma, reporting live from Da Nang, Vietnam. This is Eliana Faith Sebastian, and we live in interesting times.
To the Philippines now, where President Duterte on Tuesday night lashed out at Vice President Leni Robredo for alleged grandstanding and questioning his absence during the onslaught of Typhoon Ulysses last week. The president labeled the Vice President Robredo as dishonest for pretending not to know that he was attending the 37th Virtual ASEAN Summit and related summits from November 12 to the 15th. The president also accused the vice president of being showy during the typhoon response, since she knew that he was busy attending the summit and could not make himself available. Let's listen in.
Before I proceed any further, I would like to just give a caution to the Vice President. She made a blunder, a big one, and she practically lied, making her incapable of truth. Alam mo, yung pakana niya na wala ako sa Baguio, I was here. Dito I was attending a summit, ASEAN summit yon. So virtual lang, palit-palit kami. DSWD siya, alam na niya. So lahat ng kailangan yon, nandoon na yung sa mga military, pati yung mga cabinet member. There was no need for you to make a very masamang biro na where were you? Kung sabihin ko tuloy sa iyo, what time did you go home? So where were you? Hindi na kailangan ako mag-order at mag-order ka pa on the day. God, you are presuming that I should be giving orders on the day of the storm. That is stupid. That is why you cannot become a president, really. Mahina ka eh. Wala ka nang ibigay ang order kasi ang order na ibigay na 2 or 3 days. You do not give orders on the day of the war. Patay ka. So I don't hate to say this, but kung gano'n ka, huwag kang magtakbo ng preso. Talagang mahina ka. You do not know, and then you lied. You were not honest. Isa pa yan. When you, alam mo may summit going on. ASEAN summit. Yun ang totoo dyan. Kaya ako lumipad doon sa Bicol. Inunahan mo ako pa kunwari. But do not compete with me. And do not start a quarrel with me. Kasi ikaw, wala ka talagang nagawa. Except yung mga tawag-tawag. Tawag ka kunwari, o nasaan na yung mga helicopter, nalipad na ba? Of course, they would say yes. Your question would suggest the answer. Yung bang mga helicopter natin o na-deploy, yung ating mga yes, yan puro. Kita ka na insulto ka. You are not part of the command.
Now, in a tweet, the Vice President debunked President Duterte's allegations, denying that her office did nothing during the height of the typhoon. She said her office was busy repacking relief goods in their headquarters in Quezon City. Meanwhile, Typhoon Goni's impact on the Philippines last week would have been far worse if not for a wide-scale evacuation and other damage mitigation actions taken before the storm hit. That was according to the UN Humanitarian Coordinator in the Philippines, Gustavo Gonzalez. Let's listen in.
If we take into account the latest from the government in terms of impact on people, the numbers is 25 deaths, 399 injured, 7 missing, and this relatively small death toll shows that, again, early actions taken by the government to mitigate the impact were very successful. We are learning from Haiyan, and this is an example of resilience building, the importance of this early warning and this massive, huge preemptive evacuation. And this is one of the reasons of the low numbers of casualties. There is a sentiment of suffering and deprivation, but at the same time, people start rebuilding their houses, particularly in the coast that was the most affected by the typhoon. So this is perhaps the positive side of the resilience building. But again, we enter into the season of typhoons. We have La Nina also as a threat. We need to ensure that at least for the coming 3 months, we respond to the need of the most affected group. So this is the time. We need resources, and we would like to count on your support in making sure that we advocate for this contribution to the response plan in the Philippines.
United Nations launched a $45.5 million appeal to support some 260,000 disaster-affected people, many of whom were already living in poverty prior to the disaster wrought by Typhoon Goni, which is locally known as Rolly. Meanwhile, President Duterte has declared the entire Luzon under a state of calamity after the successive typhoons that ravaged the country's largest island. In a taped speech aired on Tuesday night, the president also bared that he signed a proposal of the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council to place Luzon under a state of calamity. Malacanang has yet to release the proclamation. On Monday, the NDRRMC announced that it approved a resolution recommending to President Duterte to put Luzon under a state of calamity due to the damage brought by Super Typhoon Rolly and Typhoons Quinta and Ulysses. A declaration of a state of calamity hastens rescue, relief, and rehabilitation efforts of the government and the private sector, including any international humanitarian assistance. It also effectively controls the prices of basic goods and commodities in the affected areas. Quinta, which made landfall on October 25, left 1.56 billion pesos and 2.66 billion pesos worth of damage to agriculture and infrastructure, respectively. Rolly, meanwhile, left 5 billion pesos worth of agricultural damage and 12.9 billion pesos worth of infrastructure. In other news, in the ASEAN region, around 2,000 opposition supporters turned out to protest Myanmar's election results, which gave a landslide victory to Aung San Suu Kyi's ruling National League for Democracy Party. Take a look.
ကျွန်တော်တို့မဲလိမ်မဲညစ်မဲခိုးတွေနဲ့ပြည်သူတွေကမကျေနပ်လို့အဲ့တော့လွတ်လပ်ပြီးတရားမျှတတဲ့ရွေးကောက်ပွဲဖြစ်စေခြင်းလို့အားလုံးကျွန်တော်တို့ပြည်ခိုင်မျိုးနဲ့ဝင်းရံပြီးတော့ဆန္ဒပေါ်ထုတ်တာပြောလို့ရပါတယ်။ဘာကြောင့်လဲဆိုတော့ NLD ရဲ့ရလကပွင့်လင်းမြင်သာမှုမရှိတဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်မလို့ကျွန်တော်တို့လက်မခံနိုင်ဘူး
Aung San Suu Kyi's ruling party swept to a landslide win in Myanmar's election. Official results showed Friday in a poll disputed by the military-aligned opposition and criticized by rights groups. Her National League for Democracy, or NLD, had already declared the victory based on its own tallies, prompting street celebrations by supporters. Now, Japan, India, and Singapore have already congratulated Suu Kyi and her party. Observers widely concluded that voting took place smoothly on the day, despite forecasts of a low turnout due to a recent surge of coronavirus cases. But they condemned what they described as the Election Commission's lack of transparency and its cancellation of the polls across many ethnic minority areas, ostensibly for security reasons. And again, let's go to the picturesque island nation of Maldives, where Steffi Dewan joins us live. Hello, Steffi.
Hi, Alma. I'm sorry about what happened a while ago.
That's okay.
So here's the latest update from the island country of Maldives. Visit Maldives participated in the International Maldives Travel Market, or IMTM 2020, from November 16 to 17. This two-day fair, held virtually with the IMTM Air platform, facilitated business interactions and strengthened endeavors to promote Maldives as a tourist destination to new and existing markets. The aim of this event is to reconnect, revive, grow the country's tourist sector. IMTN is a private travel and trade fair which plays a crucial role in bringing together international buyers from across the world to associate with Maldivian tourist products. IMTN maintains the stance that stakeholders of the local tourist industry must come together to deliberate on challenges, solutions, and opportunities resulting from COVID-19 pandemic, thereby furthering efforts to support increased and more sustainable growth within Maldives tourist sector. According to Managing Director of Visit Maldives, they hope that the brand awareness and visibility of the destination increases among tourism promotion boards of Maldives. Visit Maldives welcomes such collaborative efforts by all private and public entities, as digital and online marketing is vital these days. They believe that carrying forward similar activities is essential. Visit Maldives has been taking part in several virtual, includes a global campaign with CNN, a joint campaign with DNATA Travels, promotion with Emirates Women's, integrated webinar sessions in China, and the recent participation in World Trade Mart Virtual 2020. In 2021, Visit Maldives aims to spearhead a national effort to unite tourism stakeholders in the attempt to boost arrival figures to pre-COVID rates. And that's the latest news for today. Back to you, Alma.
Thank you very much, Steffi, for your report and your updates. Looking forward for more. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you so much. Reporting live from Maldives, this is Steffi Di Juan, and we live in interesting times.
Sa mundong waring walang puwang para sa kanilang pagmamahalan, sapat ba ang tibok ng kanilang puso upang bumuo ng sarili nilang daigdig? Inihahandog ng Eagle Broadcasting Corporation ang kauna-unahang romantic drama series ng Net25.
Ang daigdig ko'y ikaw. Magsisimula na ngayong Nobyembre, tuwing Sabado ng gabi, dito lamang sa Net25. Abangan.
At ako'y laging sa'yo hanggang magpakailanman. Kumanta, sumaya tayong lahat. Saya-saya.
Welcome back. A 6.3 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of Indonesia's West Sumatra province on Tuesday, according to Indonesia's Meteorological, Climatology and Geophysical Agency in a tweet on its official account. The agency said that no tsunami warning had been issued for the earthquake, which occurred more than 100 kilometers from land and at a depth of 10 kilometers. The European Mediterranean Seismological Center downgraded its magnitude for the quake to 5.8 from 6.2 initially. The Southeast Asian archipelago experiences frequent seismic and volcanic activity due to its position on the Pacific Ring of Fire, where tectonic plates collide. Meanwhile, the Philippine Navy's corvette, the BRP Conrado Yap, that is the PS-39, conducted a passing exercise, or PASEX, with 2 ships of the Republic of Korea Navy on Manila waters on Tuesday. In a statement on Wednesday, Navy Public Affairs Office Chief Lieutenant Commander Maria Cristina Rojas said the ROKN Cruise Training Group, consisting of ROKs Kang Gam Chan and Rock Soy Yang, travels all over the world to visit various ports. Now, the PASEX is a customary undertaking to ensure that vessels and aircraft communicate and cooperate. It's also a form of rendering honors to transiting foreign naval vessels and affirms the strong ties between the Philippines and South Korea. Rojas said the BRP Conrado Yap established communications with the ROKN ships at about 10 a.m., which was followed by low-altitude flybys by Philippine Air Force FA-50 PH jet fighters, or Philippine jet fighters. This was followed by the 3 ships' tactical maneuvers that culminated in a farewell sail. The ROKN has been among the key defense partners of the Navy with their contributions to the latter's modernization. Most recent among these was the transfer of the former Pohang-class corvette, now the BRP Conrado Yap, to the Navy in 2019. In other news, Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison said he will work with Pacific Island and ASEAN nations to ensure that vaccines can be delivered across all of these countries next year. As he speaks in Tokyo after signing a joint declaration with his Japanese counterpart, Yoshida Suga, Morrison is the first foreign leader to pay an official visit to Japan since Suga took office in September.
The Pacific Island states of the Southwest Pacific, or the ASEAN nations, where we will work together, as we are with many others, in ensuring that the vaccines that can be delivered across all of these countries, hopefully over the course of 2021, to return the world to a greater state of normal than we have known now for some time.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Suga Yoshihide said on Tuesday that Japan and Australia have also reached a broad agreement on their bilateral defense pact to facilitate more joint operations and exercises on each other's soil. The pact is called the Reciprocal Access Agreement. It's a legal framework to allow their troops to visit each other's countries and to conduct training and joint operations. The defense pact would act as a bulwark against China's growing military power in the region. The summit comes amid deteriorating relations between Canberra and Beijing, with China imposing import bans on a range of Australian goods in recent months. Now, one of the world's biggest trading blocs has just opened its doors for business. It covers more than 2.3 billion people, and UN economists said on Monday that they believe it will help the 50-nation club recover better from the global economic crisis caused by COVID-19. Signed over the weekend, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or RCEP for short, has a combined economic worth of $24 trillion. Exports could grow as much as 10% between now and 2025, according to UNCTAD, the UN Trade and Development Organization, and member countries could see their economies expand by 0.2% by the end of the decade. The region is already a manufacturing powerhouse, accounting for nearly half of all global automotive products and up to 70% of electrical goods. UNCTAD highlighted how streamlined customs procedures will likely result in increased productivity, as will not tariff barriers, and will non-tariff barriers and specific measures to promote greater cooperation and transparency, such as recognition of professional qualifications and licenses between countries. The initiative dates back to 2012, but the 15 countries involved in the deal only signed it last Sunday after years of negotiations. So China will get another chance to reshape Asia-Pacific trade at the regional summit starting Thursday, days after securing a huge trade pact victory and with the U.S. playing protectionist defense. The Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation or APEC Forum, held online this year because of the coronavirus pandemic, brings together 21 Pacific Rim countries, including the world's two biggest economies, accounting for about 60% of global GDP. China has become the dominant force in the trade grouping in recent years as Washington turned away from multilateral organizations and President Trump pushed his America First agenda. President Xi Jinping will take center stage at this year's summit, delivering a keynote address entitled The Future of International Cooperation at the start of the two-day event on Thursday. The U.S. has yet to announce who will represent it at the event. President Trump, who is preoccupied with fighting his election loss to Joe Biden, skipped summits with Asian leaders last week. The APEC gathering comes a week after China and 14 other Asia-Pacific countries signed the world's largest free trade deal. The RCEP, or Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, which excludes the U.S., is viewed as a major coup for China and further evidence that Beijing is setting the agenda for global commerce as Washington retreats. Availability of vaccine for coronavirus disease is expected to restore consumer confidence and help boost the Philippine economy's expansion in 2021. In an interview with Bloomberg TV on Tuesday, Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez III said the economy was on a strong position at the onset of the pandemic and green shoots are now coming out after growth contraction in the last 3 quarters. He said we are having difficulty, of course, due to the contagion with re-stimulating people's demand. People are very cautious about getting sick and therefore are holding back on spending, but we believe, he said, that we are on the right track. And he said we will see a better performance in the last quarter of this year. Mr. Dominguez said if expectations are met for the availability of a COVID-19 vaccine within the first half of 2021, he said that should inject a lot of confidence back into the country. He said as a result of that, they expect a big bounce back in our GDP growth next year. Growth as measured by gross domestic product in the third quarter posted a smaller contraction of minus 11.5% against minus 16.9% in the previous 3 months. However, compared to last year's figure, the latest print is down 10%. Authorities said things are improving due in part to the continued easing of quarantine measures amid the reopening of the domestic economy.
Nawarak yung damit niya eh, no? Para ako nasa Disneyland at pinanonood ko yung mga dancers na nasa theater, ganun ang dating. Grabe kayo guys. Ang solid nyo.
Pack power.
Abangan ang kanilang performance. Dito lang sa Tagisan ng Galing Part 2 Dance Edition.
Abangan niyo po ako and the rest of the Barkada and your favorite OPM artists on Letters and Music. Prime time na! Mula Monday to Friday, 8 p.m. only on Net 25. See you!
Welcome back. The investment opportunities in ASEAN 2021 Invest in ASEAN towards resilient growth in the new normal. E-brochure is now available online on the ASEAN website and the Invest ASEAN portal. The e-brochure features the major imports, exports, industries, and investment opportunities in ASEAN member states for 2021. It also comes at an unprecedented time as the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic are still looming and the global economy remains at risk. ASEAN member states have been working closely together to contain and mitigate the impacts of the crisis and assuring a stable environment for investment. Investment opportunities in ASEAN 2021 is ASEAN's initiative and a part of its recovery efforts by inviting the international community to continue investing in the region in the new normal. Now, the OWA Care Center at the Philippine Embassy in Bahrain received some aid to humanity packages to be given to OFWs there affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Our EBC Bahrain Bureau correspondent Lorleen Kalimlim reports.
Embassy here in Manama, Kingdom of Bahrain, where members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo or Church of Christ are aiding their fellow countrymen as part of their worldwide humanitarian program. In spite of the threat of the COVID-19 pandemic, members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo continue to uphold their advocacy of helping others in different parts of the world. Here in Bahrain, members have distributed luggages, clothes, feminine kits, and milk to distressed OFWs and their children at the OWA Care Center. This is made possible in coordination with the Philippine Ambassador to the Kingdom, His Excellency Alfonso A. Ver.
Magandang umaga po sa inyo. Una po sa lahat, on behalf of the Embassy and all the wards at the Embassy Shelter, gusto ko lang ho magpasalamat sa Iglesia Ni Cristo sa inyong patuloy at matatanging pagtulong sa ating mga kababayan na nangangailangan. Lalo na po sa panahon ng pandemya na tuloy pa rin ang inyong pagtulong kahit may pandemya. Wala ho tayong takot at buti na lang din po nandito tayo sa Bahrain at mas alaga rin tayo dito sa pagpapagamot, sa pagtetest at may mga Pilipino po dito na tinamaan na po at meron na rin pong mga nasawi. Pero sa lahat-lahat pa rin po, safe pa rin po tayo dito at nagbubukas na rin ang economy at sana po makapagbalik na sa trabaho ang ating mga kababayan at tuloy na rin ang kanilang pamumuhay, tuloy na rin ang kanilang pagsuporta sa kanilang pamilya, na malusog sila at masaya at kahit paano back to normal, kahit ibang-iba na po dito sa pandemya. So as a last note, I'd just like to take this opportunity once again. I recall with fond memories the visit of Executive Minister Eduardo B. Manalo last year. It was an honor and privilege for us, for the Filipinos here, to welcome him and for the immense project and that he did here. And we will always remember that. And today, now a year later, even with the COVID pandemic, the same fire and intensity of helping our fellow men is still there. And that we look forward when we go back to normal times. So we hope that he could come back and join us again here in the Kingdom of Bahrain. Maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat.
Magandang araw po. Narito kami ngayon sa bulwagan ng pasuguan ng Pilipinas dito sa bansang Bahrain upang isagawa ang aid to humanity bilang paggunita sa kaarawan ng ating tagapamahalang pangkalahatan, ang kapatid ni Eduardo B. Manalo. At nagpapasalamat po tayo dahil ang ating butihing ambasador ay nakasama natin ngayon upang maisagawa ang isang banal na layunin ng Iglesia Ni Cristo na tumulong sa ating mga kababayan, lalo na sa mga nangangailangan ng tulong katulad nito. Dapat ay sagawan natin ng napakalaking paglingap dito, pero dahil sa sinusunod po na health protocol ng gobyerno ay limitado lang po. Subalit Nagpapasalamat po tayo dahil natupad natin ang isang layunin na pinakahangad ng Iglesia ni Cristo na makatulong tayo sa ating kababayan. Muli, happy birthday po, Sir, kay Eduardo B. Manalo. Tasahan po ninyo na lagi nyo kaming kaisa sa lahat ng inyong layunin. At mula po dito sa bansang Bahrain, ay nagpapasalamat po kami ng marami at happy birthday po ulit. Salamat po.
Ako po si Miriam Halibas, galing po ako Mindanao. Wala po akong masyadong karanasan sa COVID kasi hindi po ako nakakalabas. At andito po ako sa embassy kasi po 2 taon akong nagtatrabaho dito, finish contract po ako at nakulong po ako dahil inakusahan ako ng amo ko na nagnakaw, but I was vindicated. So andito po ako ngayon sa embassy. At saka so far, hinihintay ko na lang po yung resulta ng attorney ko para po makauwi ako. At itong tulong po na natanggap namin galing sa iglesia ay malaking tulong po sa lahat ng ward at sa lahat ng Pilipino na distress na andito ngayon sa embassy. Malaking tulong po kasi sa kawalan at saka sila po yung inspirasyon namin para bumangon ulit at makauwi sa pamilya namin ng kumpleto na wala na pong dinadaing na problema.
Ang pagtulong po sa mga nangangailangan at ang programang Aid to Humanity sa pangunguna po ng tagapamahalang pangkalahatan, ang kapatid na Eduardo V. Manalo, ay ginagawa po ng buong Iglesia ni Cristo sa buong mundo para po hindi lamang po maibigay sa kanila ang kanilang mga pangunahing pangangailangan, kundi mapalakas din po ang kanilang espiritual na pamumuhay. Kaya po ngayon po sa pagse-celebrate ng birthday po ng tagapamahalang pangkalahatan ay ipinasya po ng Iglesia ni Cristo na gawin po ang pagtulong pong ito sa mga mamamayan na nasa ibang bansa para po mapalakas ang kanilang loob at maipakilala sa kanila ang Iglesia ni Cristo at ang kahalagahan po ng salita ng ating Panginoon Diyos.
Whenever anybody needs help, the spirit of gift-giving will be very evident. And whichever part of the world you may be, the Filipino teamwork will always be recognizable. This is Lorlene Kalimlim, your Eagle News correspondent from Bahrain, and we live in interesting times.
Thank you, Lorlene, and our EBC Bahrain Bureau. And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Alma Angeles. We live in interesting times.